Hi guys, it's Kiana again. Click the thumbs up, subscribe, and ring the bell. Bye!
And the valuing of the expertise and the things that you do and the extra miles that you go as teachers, I don't think is actually fully appreciated and celebrated. Even during lockdown, you guys have worked continuously.
Yeah.
And again, just like I thanked you for the amazing youth work that you're doing, I'm thanking you. No, I'm thanking you and all teachers that I know and don't know that may be listening, or that you got a relative. I'm thanking you all because you guys do an amazing job. So for you to want to go to the doctors and actually request time off, like that's a big thing because I know how you work.
Yeah, I was literally, because I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't sleeping. My brain was actively just going all the time. And I was just like, I was like, I can't do this. Like, because even when I was at home, my mum was like saying, don't look yourself. I just looked pale and drained. And I was like,
It's not good.
This is not the way to live. Like, I need to just take a break. And I remember during that break, I had a conversation with my auntie, and my auntie was like saying to me, you need to put yourself first. You need to slow down. You need to, chill kind of thing. So yeah, that was like for 2 weeks. And I went back. And then I remember obviously December, my birthday was coming. And it was coming the end of the term. And I think the first week of December, it was like, I ended up going to hospital. But I ended up going to hospital because it's like I had a burst blood clot.
Oh no.
Around my ovaries. So it was like a bad cycle I was having that month. But it was due to stress. So it had taken over my brain and then it went to my body. And then that was like, yeah.
That was the final.
I gotta go. I just gotta go. I have to go. Like, this is not worth it. There's no job in the world that's worth me just thought it's not happening. So yeah, January of that year, which would have been last year, I said, yeah, I got to apply for a job. I got to go.
Wow.
Regardless. And the school I'm at now, I saw that vacancy a couple times before. And something said to me, you've got time for that. But then I just thought, you know what? Sometimes you got to sacrifice things, You got to sacrifice and you think, you know what? I might go elsewhere. It might be a different experience. And I've never worked out of South. So maybe it's nice for a change. Like anytime I go, obviously I do teaching, I do youth work, every kid knows me.
You know what
I mean?
You go to school, it's like, oh yeah, don't forget to bring your permission slip back.
Every kid knows me. Maybe it might be a nice change to go out of the area where I can just go back in my area and it's, I don't
and you just live there.
And you just live there and you just work there. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, went for the job interview and basically I had to wait to get a reference from my current school, but not because I wouldn't have got it. It's because I thought normally you'd be your line manager, but because I've never applied for another teaching job kind of thing, I didn't know that the process was you had to get it from the head teacher, reference. So that's basically how they do it. So there was no problems there. Head teacher was surprised, but surprised, but in other words, she was pleasantly surprised in order to the school that I went for, because the school that I work at is one of the top 10% schools to get nearly 100% in A levels.
Wow.
BTEC.
Wow.
Jesus, like it's a world class school. Ofsted obviously outstanding, but that's beyond that.
Is that a state school?
Yeah, it's a girls' school, it's a normal school.
Oh wow.
Kind of thing. And you have normal kids.
Just know that wherever you are in 5 years' time, I'll be asking because I'll be sending my to you. And just in case you end up leaving and going to an all-boys school or a mixed school, I'll be sending my son your way. Like, I want to know that there's a teacher in the school that is able to talk to them and treat them as a human being that they are, and not just see them as another target or another mark or another problem.
Well, the beauty about this school is very diverse.
Mm.
And I mean diverse with teachers, diverse with SLT, diverse with LSAs, diverse with students.
That's beautiful.
Do you know what I'm saying? So it's very diverse, and it's all about, and the people at SLT come from similar backgrounds as me. Do you know what I mean? And it's not even mean like whether they're black or they're white or they're Asian. Similar background with like coming from a working class background and then working your way up.
Yes.
So it's like, it's kind of like normal people. Do you see what I mean? In a way. Again, when I was doing it and I went for the interview, they loved what I did. They loved my lesson plan. They loved the lesson that I taught. They're like, you need to get a run. And obviously you're scared because obviously it's a new move. Like, you know, obviously I accepted it. And then I was thinking, oh my gosh, like, how am I going to do this? Because I'd got the job, say, February, but it wasn't to start till September.
Okay.
So the nice thing about it,
didn't have to ride out.
No, but you know what?
July,
it was a nice thing because it was like I could end the academic year with my tutor group.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And also, I'm like, well, I know I'm leaving.
Yes.
So it was like, whatever happens now,
it don't matter.
It don't matter.
Because I'm gone.
Because I'm going.
Peace.
Yeah. So I was like happy and just like relieved. And the funny thing is, you know, the project I was telling you about, the other, you know, I had to do an online test with English and maths. I had to make sure that I get a percentage of it and stuff. Did that, passed it, did lesson observations, aced it. But funny thing is, after that, they weren't really on my case. But I thought maybe because I'm leaving. But you know what? It's a positive thing. But the one good thing I can say that helped me go through this, I had a coach.
Yes.
At the time, and I had the best coach. Like, obviously, I'm not gonna say her name because she'll get embarrassed. But like, she kept me grounded. Like, she literally helped me through that year. And as much as I'm gonna miss you, like, but she was so relieved and so happy.
Yeah.
Because she was like, you deserve it. And I knew her from back in working as an LSA.
Yeah.
So it was someone I knew for years, kind of thing. And she helped me so much. Like, again, another black woman coming through the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, she just helped me through it. And it was like, without her, I probably wouldn't have managed the year. See what I mean? But yeah, like, literally, I thought, okay, cool, I'm gonna go through this year, and do you know what I mean? And then bounce.
Oh, Jesus.
There was one.
You know I'm surprised.
So this was the year 10, so they would have left school now. And I remember there was this student I was working with, so I taught him for 8 hours a week. So 6 hours in the Excel, then 2 hours doing public service. So yeah, 8 hours. And I remember this white boy was really just like lazy, like didn't want to do nothing. Tried to have conversations and like, you know, what kind of things you like doing? Oh yeah, I like doing basketball. Okay, join the after school club and etc. Just trying to get him encouraged to want to come to school and do something, kind of thing. Because they were like, oh, you know, because even though they were officially excluded from mainstream, they were still able, like, as long as they had good bits, they were still able to do after school clubs.
Okay.
They were still able to do certain things and get involved. So it wasn't like, you know, but it depends on the student. If they were really bad, then like no, kind of thing. But if they wasn't, it was just like one of those where they messed up, but they're not really a bad, awful kid. Then they'll still have perks. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, you know, you could maybe get involved and etc. etc. Anyway, tried to help this kid as much as I could. And it was a couple times, we had our disagreements, etc., etc. But then it was one time he said one thing, and this was the first time in my career, both teaching, both youth work, that I refused to work with a kid. I never refused to work with, and I've dealt with kids that will punch a computer, throw chairs, not me, but throw chairs, will be effing and blinding, X, Y, Z. But that next day the kid will come like, Miss, I'm sorry. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm like, yeah, cool. I know you're having your moment. It's fine. But I refuse to work with this kid. And the reason I refused to work with this kid because the kid said something so vulgar to me that I was like, that was a black kid, be completely different. So, should I say it? Should I say what he said to me? I know they want to hear. I want to hear. So, I remember I told him to kind of, I think, to sit on the computer to do the work. He said, no, I'm not doing it. And then the thing about it is, like, he tried to distract the other kids who were focused on doing their work. And the one thing I don't tolerate is if you don't want to learn that day, that's fine. You do what you're doing. You leave the other kids who are focused. Leave them out. I don't tolerate that because it's not fair. Because if you don't want to learn, that's your experience. That's your life. But you don't intervene with other people. Like, that's not fair. That's selfish. Yeah. So obviously I've said that to him, and he's like saying, "Oh, you're always starting on me." No, you're trying to avoid others from learning who are totally focused and just not giving you any attention what you're trying to do. So back and forth to got to the point where he shouted at me, I must go clean out my underneath. So from that, I was like, everything that I could have responded back to that child, that would have been career done. Yep. Yeah? Yeah, just one of that. So for that split second, I had to close my eyes. I literally physically took a step back because I was like, I need to not go into that person right now. Because it would have been a whole complete different story. So all I said at the time, I said to the head of the exclusion part saying, he needs to take this kid out of the classroom. I'm not working with him. Sent an email to every member of staff who had the authority to say, boom, okay, no problem. Head teacher, principal, everybody. I said, I'm not working with this kid, and this is the reason being. And I CC'd every single person I'm going to be CCing. And I said, if you have any problems, then I will not teach any kid in that place now. They're like, no problem. And I thought there was going to be a problem, and I'm glad they weren't, because I think they realised, that person went too far. I said, because he had the privilege to go that far. Yeah. So I said, no, ain't happening. So obviously they thought, yeah, cool, no problem. So I was like, yeah, they understood, etc., etc. Then it got to April, maybe May, and they asked, would I be all right for that kid to return back to the classroom? I said, no. Why is he still in the school? I said, no. And the reason being is because he had made probably bad experience with all the other subjects. So he was on the verge of really not getting much GCSEs. I said, that ain't my problem. I never gave birth to him. Do you see what I mean? Yeah. And I said, he needs to learn a life skill. And I said, even though I'm not interacting with him verbally or in a classroom sense, I'm still teaching him. He has to learn that he cannot speak to any female like that. And he can't talk to people how he wants and get away with it. Exactly. Because he may go in that big bad world where he may say the wrong thing
He's
to
definitely
the
going to
wrong
say it.
person, and it be a complete different story, a
He will.
complete different outcome. So he's got to learn you can't chat to people like that. And I remember one time he was brave enough to open the classroom and asked me, Miss, can I come in? And this was one word I said to him. I said, no, and turned my head back. Because I had not had no interaction with that kid whatsoever. No interaction with him. That's the only time I had to lock eyes with him and said one word, and that was it, and I turned my head. And the students were like, wow. Because normally they're used to like the teacher and the student have a disagreement, it more or less gets settled. But I think they even realised he'd crossed the boundary.
Way past.
Crossed the boundary. So, yeah, and then they were like saying, oh, would you, nah.
Why are they continuously asking you? You done said what you said.
I think they asked twice before the end of the year, and I said, no. And it just summed it up, really, because it was just like, yeah, we don't get paid to get abused like that. We just don't. I didn't get up in that morning and think, oh, a student's going to say that to me. Not in a million years. Not in a million years. So for me, it's like...
And that was just random. You went from, like, don't disturb the other children. Like, this is not... You can have your moment, but don't make it disrupt other children's learning. Because that's not what we're doing here. You can have your moment. I'm going to give you that space to have your moment. But the moment you start to cross and it seeps into what we're doing over here, then that's where the problem lies. And he responded with that. It just, like, it's how did we go from eating apples to skydiving? Like, how did we get from that to that? I don't understand. And it just, what you're saying, it just showed that the school didn't take it seriously. Because if, like you said, if a black young boy had said that, he would have been forcibly removed, probably, from that classroom, and then he would have been permanently excluded. Yeah, there would have been no coming back.
Going back to the topic, it's you have to prove yourself. Why? But again, a job opportunity came up, but by then I wasn't interested in it anyway. But found out even if I did apply for it, I wouldn't have got it anyway, because it was only for support staff only. And this was a head of year role.
What and you said you wanted when you come back and they asked you. Do you see now, people, my lovely listeners and viewers, Lavena shared so many different points in her journey that hoop, that barrier was put up. But if we go back to when you shared that when you went back to the school, you was asked, what is it that you want to do? You said clearly, I want to be a head of year. Now you're about to leave. You're about to exit and you've been transitioning that whole February, March period to July. You've been in that transition period because you was just like, you know what? I'm not even, this ain't my forever. This is my for now until I'm going over to there, because that's already set in stone. It's done. There's nothing you can say or do that's going to jeopardize that. But because you're on that straight path now, your head's up high, you're feeling better, you're healthier, both mentally and physically, your experience in the school is different. It's time for you to almost go now, step your foot off the ground and into the future. And they create an opportunity that you said, this is what you want, but hold on, and that there's the barrier, but it's just for, like, I can't stress, if it's like, how many times do we have to experience this as black people, as black women, as black males, black females, black males? Like, how many times do we have to constantly, and this is in one place that you constantly experience that. But if you were to compare your experience at this school to the experience at your current school and those colleges that you worked in
my new school, and obviously my first year there obviously is weird because of the COVID. Alongside that, it was still the best teaching year I've had so far. Simply because I had a number of opportunities to do things. Because I just got my foot up there in the first place because, again, it came up, what is it that you want to put head of year? Because I'm like, I'm not going to not do it.
Yep.
Because someone else is not giving me that opportunity.
Yep.
Head of year. Into 2 job interviews in that school. And it was a head of year role. But the reason why I didn't get the interview, because the only thing that I haven't got behind my belt is really a manager role. So I don't have that experience. But everything else I tick the box. However, they've created the opportunity for me to do a leadership program, which they are funded.
Wow.
The head teachers funded.
You see?
So I'm on that wait list for that, but they are funding it for me. They've also given me responsibilities, what a middle management would do as well, for me to get the experience. The Black Lives Matter movement that happened, we had training on it, and I suggested, the girls are going to be very, intrigued to want to talk about Black Lives Matter when we go back to school. And obviously, they may have different views. There may be some emotions that are very varied. So why don't we give them the tools to where they can have that conversation? Like, for example, the glossary, the keywords, the phrases that they can use without coming across as arrogant or coming across as ignorant or coming across as aggressive or whatever it may be. And maybe have it in their planners, because they'll have it every day. And they can go back and look at, miss, blah, 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 blah. And it invites
constant
a conversation. And I said that to the deputy head teacher, and they were like, wow, that's a great idea. So they've literally took the idea and put it in motion, and they've actually put it in the planner.
Wow.
And I got an email one time when I was at school, because I had to go to school like maybe the last week of June. And I thought, am I meant to be in this email? Because it had all the SOT members. I was like, maybe I'm not meant to read this. And it had my name, and it was like, oh, hi, Lavena, just did this copy of the suggestion you said about the keywords and the glossaries, and we're going to put it in the planner. Can you read over it?
Yes.
Is there anything that you want me to change on it? Like, let me know, etc., etc. Wow. I thought, my idea is been put in a planner that I'm being acknowledged from the deputy head teacher, and the head teacher's also talking about it as well. And it's actually been put in motion. I was like, wow.
And I'm really happy that although you've given 8 years to that school, 8 long painstaking years, and you would suggest things there, and they wouldn't go anywhere.
Oh, I've suggested things, and it's been taken off of someone else's idea.
But this time,
an idea that's still there.
But that experience didn't stop you from wanting to share suggestions and being open enough to say, well, how about this? And what about that? What do you guys think of this? Like, those 8 years have not shattered you. It may have tried to break you physically, emotionally, mentally, but it didn't break your spirit, your drive, your passion, your resilience, your determination. For me, listening, it feels like those years kind of fueled.
Yeah.
It like jet launched you into Yeah. All right, cool, bye.
Yeah. And even to top it off, when I got to the school, remember I said to you a bit earlier that my pay didn't go up. So officially I was still on scale 1. When I started at the school, they put me straight on scale 3. I was like, and I didn't even ask for it. I'd explained to them everything that happened.
Jesus.
I put an application that I was dyslexic, because I was told and everything like that. They had put everything that I needed for my application and gave me more time for the testing and etc. that I needed to do. And they still hired me and it wasn't a problem. And they even, the head teachers came and was like, what kind of things we can do for you to support you. He's given me like this dictionary, he's given me all these things, they've given me screening, they've given me my own classroom. Like they've been very helpful the whole time. Anything that I need, they would just do it.
Wow. And they're adapting things for you.
Me. Yeah.
And that's what you need.
Yeah.
Guys, you need to know your worth. That's number one. And if you get at least 2 signs where people are not actually valuing you for you, what you bring to the organization, to the table, like even if it's in a relationship, know your worth. Because if you don't know it, you will allow somebody to continuously, even though you're in it for the right reasons and for you have good intentions, other people don't. They really don't. And I just want to commend you and say, like, thank you for all that you've done, all that you're doing, and for still having the strength to continue. Because at 32 learning you're dyslexic, that's a lot. I'll be thinking, like, I've been cheated on my GCSEs, I've been cheated in school, I've been cheated all across the board. Like, can I go back and have that in consideration, put into consideration?
Yeah.
But it's a lot. And I think from what I hear, from what my takeaway is, that is definitely knowing your worth and not being scared. Like, don't let the fear of being in a new environment, whether it's work or, whatever it is, stop you from taking that leap. Because like you said, where you're not hearing over here in the organization or environment that is definitely putting you down and creating all manners of stress that's affecting you across the board, just know that when you go over to somewhere else, that they don't even need to acknowledge that, because they're acknowledging something else that you didn't even realize. Like, well, okay, I do that, don't I?
I even had to do a bit of things with beige now, like blue, black or Asian background, etc. Like of being at high risk because of this.
I'm sorry, but I don't really feed into that BAME. Like, I don't. It's too separate. Like, we need to not try and put everybody in one bucket. You've already done that with the Black community, like where we have different layers. Like, but I'm just saying that that's me, Simone Marie Ija. That is me. Other people may have their thoughts, and it's not because I don't. Like, I'm disassociating with another culture, but we need to respect that we're all different. Yeah, can't just drop black and brown in one. In 4 words, in 4 letters. Sorry, I digress.
So we all had to have like a risk assessment, like obviously returning back to school, like how we feel about it with like the new setup and social distancing and everything like that. And just even with that, it was just like, because I haven't taken London transport since March, because normally I would have taken the train and the tube to work. But since lockdown, I've not really been on a bus, etc. So like that week when I had to go to school, I drove in, kind of thing. So I decided, you know what, until it's safe again, like it seems safe to be on the tube and be on the overground where you can have to touch people potentially, I'm just gonna drive for now. So, obviously you have to ask for like a parking space, etc. So yeah, no problem, not an issue, etc. And even with that was like saying, I know what it's like. The deputy teacher used to do, like, because obviously to avoid the congestion, you have to go through either Blackwall Tunnel or what's the other tunnel,
Rougher
Height as well, to avoid congestion. So she even said to me, like, I know what it's like. That drive can be a bit of a nightmare sometimes, etc. So there is times on period 5 where you're not teaching, or you have a lesson where, the kids can be coming over VR, you can leave and go early.
Is there a catch? Are you being serious?
Leave at what time? They're like at 1 o'clock. Huh? Sorry? I thought there was a disconnecting in the line. It's like, no, because we want to make sure that everything is okay for you coming into school, etc. And there's no issues and blah, blah, blah. So I said, wow. And it was like one of the things I know, because we're very, very like, when I'm like from the bottom of my heart, we're very lucky to have you here. Like,
Bless.
I was like, what? She's like, no, like, because she was the same person a week after I joined, said, it's like you've been here all the time. Like, the way you've just fitted in and the way you just do things naturally and the way you just get involved with certain things, you just do things naturally. And I've just been so blessed with my new school. Like, the department I work in, like, just ace. Like, my line manager, like, every single day during lockdown, she'll message in, see how I'm doing, any support that I need, etc. Don't worry if you can't do this. Don't worry if you can't do that. Do what you can. Don't stress about it. I'm not stressing about it, so I don't want you to stress about it. Like, she was very just on the ball, like literally just so supportive. Like, if there's anything you can do, blah blah blah, let me know. We split the work equally, kind of thing. So it would be like, I might do the work for year 10, she'll do the work for year 12, etc., etc. She would always big me up to the head to just, oh my gosh, Lavena is this and Lavina's that, blah blah blah. She's done all this, like, you know, like, so supportive. Like, but when the deputy head teacher's like, yeah, we're so lucky to have you. Like, you just literally just did so many things. Like, I think one in November, I taught the whole of year 7s about period talk.
Oh, wow.
Like, so that was different kind of thing. So it's kind of like, you know, when you do a whole school or a whole, like a day where there's off timetable, but they do different workshops. Like, I did that workshop.
Wow.
Created the session. And deputy said, oh, you've got experience, you just present. I was like, yeah, it's not a problem. And like, now they want to do a Black Lives Matter or like a anti-racial kind of like ambassador team kind of thing.
Wow.
So I can get involved in that.
Make sure they're paying you for your time, sis.
Yeah, and that's another thing. My school they pay you.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
They pay you. When I told people that I work from my office, they were like, what do you mean they pay you?
I think because it's the setup of the schools. Because when they become like, because I know my kids were in a free school, and that was at the time where David Cameron started, and he had his whole big society thing. I did my dissertation on a couple of parts of it. And I know with the school that my kids used to go to, they have to, every teacher and support member of staff, I believe, has to teach an after school club.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they can't just do these hours. Like, they have to be here at like, whether it's 7:30 or...
Yeah. No, we have to do, by law, for our hours, communicate hours, we have to commit to 6 hours every academic year. So it could be just a half term. We do something in our department and whatnot, and you just accumulate that 6 hours for the year. So you have to do that in the hours. But anything you do extra,
you get paid for.
You get paid for.
But you have to be acknowledged for your expertise and your, you know, what you give. We've proper talked about this. But no, I really just want to thank you, Lavena, for coming and sharing.
Yeah.
This episode has been a bit different because usually we do have a conversation and there's a lot of questioning that I might bring and I share a bit and we go back and forth. But I really wanted people to fully understand your journey in a school as a Black female compared to where you are now. And you've been there. This is coming up, it's going to be a year. Technically, it's an academic year now because school's closed.
Yeah.
So you've been there an academic year. But you was at the other school. I can't stop saying them painstaking 8 years, sis. Yeah, we had, I think, within the support staff, we really had a sense of community.
Oh,
like,
definitely.
I've been gone since 2012. It's 2020 now.
Oh, wow.
I still have, like, the pictures of the memories, like when we went to the Shisha place in Clapham. I still see other people's updates for those that don't live in London. They kind of live on the outskirts. But it's still refreshing to know that I can still always say, hey, girl, or hey, bro, hey, whoever, how you doing? Hope you're good. Like, we still, Facebook is a funny thing because even sometimes it's just the birthdays. It might be like just remembering, like, okay, yeah, and then send a nice little message after. But we really had a sense of spirit and community, like you said. And that's a group of people that I know I will have throughout. I was looking back at my son's christening and I invited all of you guys. Shit, I've really known everybody for so many years because I went on maternity leave and came back, and then that's when I moved over and transitioned into the mainstream side of school. But thank you so much. I hope people have listened and fully grasped exactly what it's like in one aspect for just one Black woman pursuing a career in education, making it very clear what the aims are, what the objectives are, what they want, what the end goal is, and still being prevented and knocked down and, made ill, because that experience really made you ill.
But the thing is, like, I look back at it now, and obviously at the time, obviously it wasn't a great experience, but I look at it as like, it was meant to happen. I was meant to steep that low in order for me to feel really high now.
Yeah.
And anything that you want to do in life is never going to come easy. You're always going to have those falls. You're always going to have those trips. You're always going to have those downfalls. But it's how you come up from it. Do you know what I mean? And I feel, I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it happened. I'm glad, if I didn't go back to school, I might not there. So I'm glad it happened. I'm glad it happened that way as well, because it's made me become a better teacher for it. It's made me be aware of how to be more creative. It's made me be aware of certain things I need to do. And I do things now naturally where it's like, where I think I'm doing something small, it's actually not. It's when I read back and think, Ron, did I actually create that piece of work?
And you're being acknowledged as well.
So, yeah. So, you know what? You can never, ever be sorry for experiences, even if they're bad ones.
Yeah. Because you learn.
You learn, and it makes you who you are. You have to go through it in order for it to be better. Like, you have to go through rains and storms for the sunshine to come out again. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm thankful, man.
It's beautiful, and the sun, it just turned up. The Lord said, yes, take that blessing and take another one.
Yeah. And it's, the school was it's a very good school to build from. Develop your experience first. It's a good platform for it. But, you're going to have certain areas you go in. It's a good stepping stone. But when you have to go, you know when to go.
Yes. Don't hold on for
Exactly.
That is beautiful. So, guys, Lavena's links are going to be down below. But for those listening, let them know where they can find you.
Yeah, well, you can find me on Instagram at Truths Debate. So that's TRUTHS Debate, which is DEBATE 2020. So that's on Instagram. You on one show?
Yeah. I want to say that I created the word entangling with the definition. See, don't ask me what it is now. Don't ask me. Do I know what it is? I'll post it when I post it.
No, definitely. But no, seriously, if you want to watch the show back with me, go on my page. It's on there. Watch it. Make a comment.
That was a good show, though.
That was a very good show.
It was a good one. I enjoyed it a lot. I did.
So, yeah,
but thank you.
Monday, 8 till 10. That's me. Right?
Yeah, guys, believe me. And one thing with Lavena is she posts the topic as well in advance and gets people commenting and talking about it before. And that kind of sets the scene of what to expect when we go into that show.
It's a bit like waiting for that power episode.
No, but that entanglement episode was very, very hilarious. It really was hilarious. But I enjoyed it. And guys, you can enjoy it too. You really can. And as I always say, I'm enjoying learning and continuing to grow with you all. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Take care.